There's the on-air light, so we're good to go. I will call this board meeting to order. Kelly, please call the roll.
Sure. Heather. Here. Tara. Here. Corey.
Here.
Paul.
Here.
And I am here.
All present. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Statement of public notice. When did the statement go out?
January 7th, 2025.
Thank you, ma'am. And now I would entertain a motion to approve that agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Anything under discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's reaffirm our commitment to our country and honor our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I am going to bring item 2 under communications and announcements forward, the board president's report. I'm going to do that first before we do the persons requesting. So I am going to start with the group. So I'm going to bring that over here so the recording can hear it too, buddy. I want to begin by acknowledging a mistake I made at last month's meeting, and I want to apologize to the district team for my loose tongue. On the December 11th open board meeting discussion about the various scenarios about the topic we're going to vote on later tonight, I unintentionally made an offhand remark about the quality of our earliest Spanish language program. My comment was completely inappropriate given the open nature of the meeting, and an apology to the teachers and staff is certainly warranted. I want everybody to know that Betty and Senora were very gracious and allowed me the time to have a one-on-one personal apology to them, so very gracious, and I appreciate that. I explained to them that we as a board had spent dozens of hours in closed session in the days and weeks before that. We'd been having very frank, very candid, very blunt conversations right up until that day. The day before we had a session as we were completing the hiring process, contract negotiations and stuff. And so what happened was I lost the bubble and I was being blunt and frank, and it was an open session meeting and I kind of lost track of that. So that's not an excuse, it's just the reality of what happened, and I would hope to never say anything like that so blunt in public. We are lucky to live in a community where people and relationships are authentic and they're for the long term. So when people make unintentional mistakes, we engage each other directly and personally in a one-on-one conversational manner, and we can apologize and make amends. Because at the end of the day, we're all just each other's neighbors and teammates. We're not a big bureaucracy. Dr. Harms, our medical officer, is famous for saying, what we do here, we have to be careful about what it is because our children are watching. Well, our teachers and staff are watching too, and what I said was inappropriate, and I want to make sure that they all hear that it was a mistake. I'm sincerely sorry, and I ask for their forgiveness. So that's my first part of my president's report tonight. So with that item, I would move on to persons requesting to address members of the Board of Education. Is there anyone that's going to want to speak? Okey-doke, I got 2. We'll ask you to limit it to about 3 minutes or less, and just don't be nasty, and oh yeah, so please state your name and your address though. All right, so whoever would like to go first, whoever's hand, I think it was behind Nicole. Oh, please, yeah.
I have notes, so I'm going to kind of read off this because I get easily distracted. As anybody that knows me, I can talk forever. My name is Lisa Willitson. I'm a proud Kohler resident, and I reside at 1124 Woodland Road. I also have school-aged children that attend the school. What I want to take a look at today is I deeply value our school's reputation for excellence and the opportunities it provides for all students. However, after reviewing some Department of Public Instruction data, along with some Kohler School District documentation on non-resident open enrollment over the past 20 years, I am concerned about the path and the implications of the trend that I'm seeing. When we take a look at the data starting in 2003-04, non-resident students accounted for 15%, or 79 students of our district's total enrollment. By 2013-14 school year, that figure had increased to 28%, or 207 students that were added. And just last year, with the 23-24 school year, non-resident students made up 37.5%, or 278 students of our total enrollment. While open enrollment has undoubtedly contributed to the district's financial stability and can foster great diversity for our students. It is also important, I think, to consider its potential impact on the experience and success of our resident students. Kohler families, who shoulder a larger share of the financial and community responsibility for our schools, have a reasonable expectation that their children's education opportunities will not be compromised by school choice policies. While I appreciate the district's efforts to address the challenges in the recent referendum, looking at elementary classrooms, I just kind of wonder if the community had a full understanding of what the open enrollment really was talking about, if we would have had as strong support to pass that referendum. But in light of those concerns, I guess I'm just asking the board to really seriously look at a comprehensive review of the long-term impacts on open enrollment, focusing particularly on extracurricular opportunities, such as sports clubs and after-school programs, resource allocations, specifically scholarships, specialized resources, and academic opportunities, teacher workload and classroom quality, and also the school identity and community values. As stewards of our district's future, it is vital for the board to ensure that the decisions around open enrollment balance financial needs with the best interests of our resident students. I respectfully request a transparent and data-driven evaluation of these issues, along with a commitment to keeping resident families' needs at the forefront for future policy decisions. I thank you all for your dedication, because I know this is not an easy job to do, because some of you have talked with me and you know how I go. I trust in your leadership to really thoughtfully navigate these challenging times. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a familiar face to many of you. My name is Nicole Whitwer. I live at 444 Sir Howard Circle. I'm a resident, a parent, a graduate, a current teacher. I check all the boxes. I'm here tonight with Betty Bly, and together we lead the 4K program here at Kohler. We have 35 years of experience in early childhood education, 29 of those here at Kohler. We are proud to have taught children from every member of the current school board. They're some of our favorite kids. Early childhood education is our professional life's work, and being the lucky ones that get to welcome students to the district is our honor. As a parent and a resident, I expect teachers' voice to be part of decision-making here at the school. So I'm here tonight to make sure the teacher's voice on structuring the 4K program is heard and understood. We were informed on December 11th by Lisa Green that the board was discussing opening up a third afternoon section in JK without offering morning Kohler care as part of an effort to increase the overall grade head count. I believe this is a big consideration in tonight's important open enrollment vote. So in response, we provided the board with a 4-page document the very next day detailing why, in our professional opinion, an afternoon section is not equitable, not sustainable, and does not justify eliminating the Spanish special for approximately 300 elementary students. I do want to take the time to thank the 2 board members that did follow up in reply to our email. The idea of adding an afternoon section was floated in 2023 and quickly dismissed by staff. I want to stress that staff and administration are in lockstep agreement that an afternoon section is not an attractive choice for families, and that JK should stay as a morning program, even if that causes class sizes to flex slightly larger. We learned in the 23-24 school year that larger sections are not just possible, but highly positive in many ways, especially with the addition of critical aid support. We would have no reservations going back to that model and would love to share our experience on all we learned. Moving forward, please consider adding the teacher's voice to important issues such as this. The best decisions come when all stakeholders are given the opportunity to share their unique perspective and expertise. Teachers are passionate about the work we do and the students we serve. We are eager to partner with you to come up with what's best for students and staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we'll continue with the agenda. Next item under communication announcements and schedules is Activities Director Ryan. You got some great news to share, huh?
Yeah, very great news. All right, so yeah, I do have great news. So we as administration wanted to recognize our students and coaches for everything that they've done, and especially their great accomplishments that they've achieved over the last 3 months here. So I have here our tennis coach, Bob Sassi back there, Coach Sassi. He's back there. Yeah, these people give up a lot of time, so. And then Charlotte is here as our tennis representative. And then I have, unfortunately, Coach Ott was unable to make it. She had something come up at the last moment, but I'll read her report here. And then I have our coach, Coach Borland back there. And then Clark and Ben are also here. And then from HOSA, do we have Mrs. Manor here? She's downstairs working, yeah. She's working. So I have Ellie Martin and Olivia Davis back there representing HOSA. All right, so each one of them are going to talk about their season and the accomplishments that they've made over the last 3 months. We had some great accomplishments, some of the best finishes in program history. Definitely history was made this year for our programs. So I'll introduce first Coach Bob Sassi.
What a big crowd. Well, thanks for having me. First thing I want to do is I want to thank the school staff and the parents for all their support for our tennis team. They do a great job. I get a lot of questions answered. I bug Ryan all the time about things, and it's great to get back to me. Nice, does a great job. All the parents, Charlotte, you can attribute to that. You're a big part of this group, and Ellie, you're part of it as well. We've got we've always had, since I've been coaching the girls, a very talented and dedicated group. This last season, going into the season, we had high hopes and high goals to reach team state. Unfortunately, we had a slow start. We started 0-8, which is pretty bad. But we're looking for some positive things. We never lost track. We kind of shifted our focus on not so much getting to team state, but just righting the ship and getting better every day and working hard. To try to find a positive in those 8 losses, of the first 8 losses, we lost to 5 of the top 6 teams in the state at that time. So I always try to, as the girls know, I try to schedule tough teams because I'd rather lose to a real good team than win walkovers. You don't get any better playing that kind of tennis. So we go out and try to win every match, and what happens, happens. But during the losing streak, we constantly discussed hard work, never giving up, and focusing on the job at hand. And every day in practice and every day throughout the season, we got better. We had some freshmen in key roles, and they were getting more. They were pretty nervous. I understand it. Charlotte, you went through that as a freshman, and they all do. And you should be nervous going out. And but as the season went on, everybody did a nice job. We finished the season 13-10. So after that 0-8 start, we really regrouped and had a nice finish. Going into the WIA tournament, we knew going in that we had to have a chance to win the sectional. We had to get everybody through the first round, and because if you're out, you don't earn any points to get to the next spot. So anyway, we finished the season with 13-10 and ranked fourth in Division II in the state rankings, which is I think was a really good accomplishment for what we went through, and well deserved. So we had to get through we got everybody through the first round in subsectional. So there was a 3-way tie with 24 points each between St. Mary Catholic, Sheboygan Falls, and Kohler. We already had lost St. Mary Catholic twice in the regular season, once in an invite and once for our conference match. They were close, but we still lost. So we knew it was going to be tough going in. We got everybody through, like I mentioned, to the sectional final. And our first 5 matches of the sectional finals were against St. Mary Catholic. So that was going to make or break if what we're going to be doing, if we have a chance to win that thing or not. Well, anyway, we won 3 of the 5 matches, and that gave us at least that we had some control of our own destiny that way. Everybody continued to play really well. We ended up winning sectionals by 2 points over St. Mary Catholic, so I thought that was just unbelievable. And I'm one that when I don't really pay much attention to the score, I don't run up to see, I talk to Ryan, and he knows that, and what the score is and who's got to win and how many. I just figure we got to keep on winning. You kind of know where you're standing by the wins and losses when the girls come off the court. But everybody played hard, and we ended up winning and going to team state. So anyway, going to Madison is always a fun experience for the girls and parents. We always get great support. There's a lot of people come and cheer and scream and holler and make signs, and it's a great atmosphere. We played Aquinas in the semifinals, and we did lose 2-5. Everybody played their hearts out, had some tears, had some joy, but we had a lot of team building, and it was just a great effort between all the girls and people that came to watch, and parents and family support. We were, out of the 4 schools in the semifinals, got to give Kohler credit, we were the only public school. Everybody else is private. So we do a nice job competing against, recruiting and everything else, or get a lot of school choice where they get to go. So fortunately, we have a lot of girls that throughout the year they take tennis lessons. They play tennis year round, and that makes a big difference. And it shows on the courts. So, and then finally, found out from Ryan a couple weeks ago that Kohler was awarded the Sportsmanship Award from the WIAA. So we haven't seen that yet, but I know that's going to be coming. They're going to let us know when that happens. And that wraps up our season. So I'm already getting things going for next year, getting the teams lined up for our matches, and hopefully we have another. We lost some seniors, but I think we got a good nucleus that we can probably get there again. So I don't know if there's any questions or.
Great work.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
I don't know, it was just so much fun, and it was unbelievable that we made it to state. I think the last time our team made it was 2019, and it was definitely a great team bonding event. We all got to be in the same hotel and hang out. It was just so much fun, and it was also impressive that 6 people qualified for individual state too the previous weekend, so yeah.
All right, then, like I said, Coach Ott unfortunately was unable to make it, so I just want to read off who qualified for state and how they did throughout the season. So in diving, Emily Lace and Mia Stoley made it to state. Emily finished 9th, and Mia finished 10th at state, which is very, very good. In the 200 medley relay, Nora Williams, Megan Spence, Anna Devine, Claire Bratz finished in 5th. In the 100 freestyle, and there's Miss Manor. Welcome. 100 freestyle, Claire Bratz finished in 12th, which is very good. 200 freestyle, Abby Jensen, Claire Bratz, they finished in 6th place and had a personal record. And then the 400 freestyle, Abby Jensen and Claire Bratz finished in 6th place, which is a personal record. So they did finish 4th as a team, which was best in program history. So just a very, very impressive season for KLF swimming. All right, Coach Borland, you have the floor.
Do you want to say something first?
Before Coach comes on, I just want to say we're very appreciative for what the families did, the coaches especially, all coaches, Coach Borland, just all of our coaches, Coach Kate, Coach Jordan, Coach Olivia, and then also all the community members that came out to support. It means a lot to all of us. Made it a lot more fun.
I just want to talk about competitive balance because, of course, we were moved up from D3 to D2, competing against teams with quadruple our school size. So we knew it was a challenge coming in, but the guys just worked their butts off to get the state championship. And then on the girls' side, they worked just as hard to bring the first state championship for girls, and I don't even know when. Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen. I'm Joe Borland, cross-country coach. Just want to talk a couple of things. One about culture in the community. The guys get tired of this, but every time we have a meeting, I start off with kind of our brand, right? First thing we talk about is community. We're here to build a running community within the broader Kohler village, right? So we've got not only Girls on the Run, we've got the Kohler Classic. We work really hard to bring kids not only into the program, but to become runners, right? And that's what it's all about. So that's the first thing we stress. We also stress that this is about a program. And Ben, do you remember how many teams we have? One team. So we've got 2 middle school teams. We've got boys, girls, middle school, boys, girls, high school. We're one team, right? So we really work to bring all the programs together, boys and girls, 5th grade through 12th grade. And that's something that we really work on. And then we talk about values of kindness, right? We don't talk about that enough. Maybe we don't practice it enough, but I tell the parents, your kids have enough stress in their life. I don't want them having stress when they come to cross-country practice. So we don't, conflict happens, but if it happens, we're going to deal with it quickly and in a mature way, and they learn that way. And we stress fun, right? So kindness, fun. Inherently, running is hard work. We'll get there. That's inherent with what we do. But we really talk about kindness and fun, and then we get to hard work. As it relates to success, wow. The boys pull off a three-peat. That is very rare. The girls won their first. It's even more rare than a three-peat is to get one program to have both state championships and to win in D3 for the 3rd time. So interesting story. We have a planning meeting every year, not in August when cross-country season starts, but in January, right? And it's an informal, it's not mandatory. I get Ben and Clark together and whoever can make it, and we say, and before I say anything, what are your team goals? And these knuckleheads always say, we want to win state. Now I'm like, we're going to D2. We're going to D2. And they literally said, screw that, we're going to win this year. And I'm like, okay, if we're going to do that, then you got to run harder, I got to coach smarter, and we got to race a lot better. And so we did that. But it was that type of attitude of regardless of whether we're D2, we understood back in January kind of what it was going to take. I told them, I'm like, you got a 25% shot. There's 4 teams. We went into state ranked 3rd, exactly where we wanted to be because all of them knew exactly what they had to do, right? And so to pull that off was amazing. I can't speak enough about what the girls team did because it was, we lost Claire and Delaney to the swimming program, which is a great thing for them, right? They did so well and so proud of them. They'll always be part of the cross-country community. And we picked up Emily, and Sophia got healthy, and it was just an amazing story that we didn't start off the season strong. Emily played volleyball, right? And funny story, I talked to Stephanie, and I worked with Ryan, and she wants to play volleyball and do cross-country. They practice at the same times, but that's the reality of D3, right? A small community school. So we were able to work it out, but I told Stephanie in the summer, I'm like, if we are ranked in the top 5 at the end of September, I'm going to ask you to commit. And if Emily is part of that top 5, I'd like her to commit, and she did. And that made a huge role. She just got better and better. So, and Sophia had 2 stress fractures her first 2 seasons, right? Why would she come back for a 3rd? And she did. She didn't race until October. And so just those girls are warriors and they're goofballs at the same time. But they're wonderful. And so enjoy what just happened because it doesn't happen forever. So thank you for your support.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, now we got hosts. We have Ellie Martin and Olivia Davis. They're raising a lot of funds for the Sheboygan Food Bank. They've raised thousands of dollars, I believe, so far. And I don't know how much food you've collected, but a lot. And they recently got a letter from Governor Tony Evers just thanking them for all their efforts. So I'll let them kind of talk about what they're doing and their mission so far. And Ms. Manor, if you want to say anything, feel free.
Yeah, come up with this. Sorry, my name's Olivia Sharon. I just want to clarify. It's okay. There's a lot of Olivias in this school.
A million. Okay, so basically, Olivia and I decided we wanted to do a community awareness project, and we thought that child hunger was a really prevalent issue in our community, and we wanted to just make that clear. So basically, we had to make a plan on what we were gonna do. We did food drives in the school, Wood Lake and Elkhart School, and then we did a lot of social media stuff, like on Instagram and TikTok. So yeah, it was awesome. We contacted the mayor of Sheboygan, and we got a proclamation from him, which is this, and then yeah, it's this one. And then we also contacted Tony Evers, and yeah.
Yeah, and then so in total we raised $2,418 through our GoFundMe and other fundraisers that we held here, like the craft fair and other things. And then we have raised 135 pounds of food that we dropped off yesterday. So we just dropped off the money and the food at the Sheboygan County Food Bank, and they were really grateful. And we just want to thank our community for helping us accomplish this, and Elkhart too, because they were also a factor, and we're just so grateful that we got to do this.
And we're especially grateful to Miss Manor,
Miss Manor.
because we could not have done it without her. I've been in HOSA for 4 years, and I'm the president this year, and Miss Manor has just made such a huge impact on my life, and I just want to say thank you.
I just want to say that we went from a small group to 38 strong this year and growing. And this year we have also added an adult affiliate. And if you want to be a professional affiliate, let me know, please, because we are really growing. And it's just amazing to watch these students thrive in their passions. And wish us luck, because we are currently we're currently having our regional leadership conference right now, and they're gonna have their live round on Saturday. So wish them all the best. Thank you.
All right, so once again, just thank you to all of our coaches, all of our advisors. I see a few of them out there, student council, pep band, math clubs back there, high school student council, yeah, whole science olympiad, everything that bio club, all the clubs that Mrs. Manor runs. So thank you all very much, and thank you to all the students for all the hard work that you do.
Can we maybe take 1 second to recognize too that the two cross-country teams were named Sheboygan County Persons of the Year, and so we're Olivia and Ellie in the Sheboygan Press. Yeah, it's very impressive.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that these two lovely ladies here next to me have also been in that.
Yeah,
list.
Yep.
Congratulate them.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Ryan. All right, moving along. Wow, that's a lot of good stuff. So I hope everybody had a meaningful holiday and are re-energized for this 2025. It's a blank slate ahead of us. We as a board and several of our teachers and staff continue to engage with Dr. Mike Jewick, who's in the audience tonight. We're glad Mike is staying engaged with us on our transition plan. That will accelerate as we move toward the spring. Mike has gone out of his way to make a program where he can balance both roles, his current role and the future role, working with Lisa and the entire team to get to know our district, so we're appreciative of that. And as I like to say at all these meetings, our school board committees, I'm grateful to the chairs, the leadership that the chairs show, because that's where the hard work of this board happens. The reason generally our board meetings are quick is because the hard work happens in the committees. That's where the hard work, question asking, and the thoughtful recommendations that get brought to us are formed, and that's what you'll hear in some reports coming up soon. Same thing, grateful to our parents for parental involvement. As I say, you are our customers. These are your children, and you have expectations of us. There are an awful lot of people, many of them in this audience tonight, a lot of people working very hard as teachers and as coaches and activity directors to serve you and these kids. So we're grateful for all of that. We're so lucky in this community. We're going to hear later about some academic results that we're fortunate about. So thank you. We'll move on to the next item. Superintendent's report, please, Lisa.
Thank you. So our routines have settled back in after the holiday break. We're nearing the end of the first semester, which indicates and signifies that we're halfway through the school year. As a reminder, there is no school for students on January 17th, as that's a records day for teachers. We'll be sending out a culture and climate survey to the staff next week on February 13th. The survey is run through Panorama, which is a third party, which help us gather the metrics and highlight areas that we're doing well as a guide to school improvement initiatives. We value our staff input on the survey, so we're hoping for a very high participation level. As we approach the winter season, we want to assure you that we take the safety of our students very seriously when it comes to decisions about snow days or delayed starts. We carefully monitor the weather forecast, road conditions, advice from local plow drivers and authorities before making those decisions or announcements. This decision making and overall safety of our students and staff is it's a difficult task. So I appreciate your support and understanding as those decisions can affect your family's schedule, and we strive to communicate the changes as early as possible. So thank you for your understanding on that. Also, please remember to walk carefully through the parking lot and on sidewalks, as they often become slippery as ice forms, and students will be kept indoors if the temperature and wind chill fall below 0. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Lisa. Any questions or comments for Lisa? All right, principals reports. Who would like to go first?
Okay, so I will do the elementary principal report. And we have several of our teachers here that are recognized in here, so yay. Our elementary school has been busily off to this new year of 2025. Teachers and students didn't waste even a moment getting back into the rich curriculum, lessons, events, supplemental things, skills to be learned. In 5th grade, our class was fortunate to get a visit from a couple guest speakers, cousins of 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Wagner. Her cousins are Alex Blum and Andrew Blum. They came to talk about their experiences with engineering and careers. Alex currently works with NASA and is studying at the University of Houston, earning his master's in electrical engineering, while Andrew is at Madison studying material engineering. Kids ask questions regarding NASA, Generac, Milwaukee Tool, and both of their educational or experiences with work to be an engineer. They also even had demonstrations. Additionally, the elementary school will be having a guest speaker at the end of the month, Dazzling Dave, a yo-yo master, who will share the science of yo-yos as well as discuss growth mindset and perseverance while learning. Mrs. Ludke, our PE teacher, is the one organizing that, and then also she is starting ice skating, which the kids are biting at the bit to get going, and that'll be at Sheboygan Lakers Ice Center this month. And so, yay, they're getting ready, and teachers, I think, can join as well. I'd like to highlight our wonderful teachers, as I mentioned before, and volunteers, and they work tirelessly, not just throughout the academic day, but before and after school as well. They're here many, many hours. There are activities such as Mrs. Conrath, one of our board members, she stays on Tuesdays, and then on Saturdays, there's kids that are part of the chess club. I know it's a very full club, and it has assistance by the high school Key Club members and then other volunteers as well. 4th and 5th grade have math teams, and a couple of the teachers are here. They run many nights after school. They just had a competition with the Continental Mathematics League. And these groups are run by Jen Raber, which I saw her here. She runs the 4th grade. It's a very full room when I go by. And the 5th grade team is run by social studies teacher Lisa Carnielsen, and that too, they're just full. Kohler Care is another successful group. We have it's 4K, directed by Bonak, and then also the PM, of course, is overseen by Ryan Spranger. The kids just love everything about it. Another noteworthy group would be our 4th and 5th grade leadership crew, led by Mrs. Swanson, and then her whole PBIS team. Our PBIS is very strong in the elementary school. We have several teams doing so much for our children. We can't forget our trustee safety patrol, and they are out there rain, shine, snow, ice all year long. So they're fabulous as well, and those are 5th graders. January is also a busy testing month for elementary school. We ended December and into January access testing for our English language learners, and that would be K through 5, K through 10th grade district-wide, and that started in December. Act 20 requirements, I know you've all heard about, it's statewide. That added many new expectations for all of us this year. We will be assessing again using the test Ames Web Plus. This happens 3 times during the year. We are on our second round coming up the week of the 20th, and this is taken K through 3 in reading for early literacy screening, and then grades K-5 additionally would take MAP testing, and they also take, the 4th and 5th grade also take MAP reading. Communication will be sent out and followed up, of course, at parent-teacher conferences, which would be February 11th and 13th. I would be remiss, I know there'll be a lot of information coming, but I would be remiss if I didn't say how proud I am to be part of this elementary school who has scored number 2 ranking score as a public elementary school with like schools, and 7th overall for all schools in Wisconsin. It's pretty amazing. And lastly, the whole district did fabulous, not just elementary, but I'm coming from that lens. Lastly, just keep in mind January 17th does end our second quarter, and it's Records Day, and students will have off that day. Just enjoy everything that this cold January has to offer. Thank you.
Thank you. Natasha?
So, thank you. School is in full swing, and as the weather hasn't been very kind, just want to let families know that we are we want to ensure our students' safety. So students, when they are driving to school, be safe. Getting to school late on those days is not a problem. We want you to be here safe. So if attendance is a concern, just want to let parents know that we do make announcements that we aren't marking tardies on those days. So we encourage just safe driving, and we want our kids to get here safely. We are in the swing of things again, so assessment is ramping up. We are in the planning stages of ACT and pre-ACT test preparation for our juniors as well as sophomores and freshmen respectively. This is an important participation in this assessment because it is one of the outward-facing factors for the districts, how well the district is doing, and it is an accountability measure, so it does get indicated on our school report card. The middle school is in the swing of winter MAPS testing, so this is the window. The window started this week, runs through January 24th, so we should be testing soon, and parents will receive communication around that from teachers. As part of our professional development this month, or this year, staff is focusing on increasing student engagement and effective instruction. A lot of that has to do with informational text, focusing on the Danielson framework, specifically around domains 2 and 3, which is the learning experience and the learning environments, and really just providing for our teachers across the disciplines some different instructional strategies to get kids engaged in the classroom. So things like curriculum circles, jigsaws, graphic organizers, Socratic seminars, fish bowls, turn and talk, annotation, both individual and group, things you potentially wouldn't think could happen in different classes, but they can, and these are some of the strategies that have been shared with staff through our professional development. Safety is a priority, so we continue to do our safety drills, and we continue tabletop conversations monthly. At the middle school, our PBS character trait focus for the month of January is resilience. And just a few reminders for upcoming events for our families. Semester 1 exams are a week away. So those are on Wednesday, January 15th and Thursday, January 16th. So we encourage our students to prepare well for these and to reach out to their teachers for any additional support that they may need. On Monday, January 27th, our, we have our YA Parent and Student Information Night in this room, room 303, at 5:30 p.m. I do encourage families to come out for that. It is our youth apprenticeship program. It is a way to get our kids some credits, involved with the community, into the workforce. So it really is a great opportunity. So it'll be an information night for our parents and students. On Tuesday, February 11th, and Thursday, February 13th, are the middle high school parent-teacher conferences from 3:30 to 6. Just another way to encourage our families to connect with teachers and to have that open dialogue about student performance and any needs they may have. I'd like to now hand over to our two student representatives to highlight all of the celebrations that we have going on at the high school level.
Yeah, so just to kick it off, the students here have been doing a lot of good stuff recently. So this past weekend, our DECA chapter had a great weekend at Bayport High School. They have one team advancing to the state competition and several others who are bringing home medals for achievement. The state qualifiers were Delaney Drevlin and Ella Laced, and then the medalists were Katie Tipton, Avery Baxter, and Melanie Pellegrino, Arna Patel and Avery Harms, Alyssa Schmidt and Charlotte Bullard, Amelia York, and Nicholas Cambero.
We are happy to report that the Science Olympiad team had an exciting weekend as well. Zach Morehouse and Finney Corneliuson placed third place for the helicopter event. Sophia Quaz and Claire Bratz placed third place. For the Ride It Do It event, Sophia Quaz and Catherine Koberstein placed fourth place for the bungee drop and fifth place for precision medicine. Angela Bustos and Wenji Jiang placed fifth place for the electric vehicle event. Turk Morehouse and Finney Corneliuson placed fifth place for air trajectory. Chaz Hale and Turk Morehouse placed sixth place for code analysis. Turk and Zach Morehouse placed sixth place for the fossils event. And our team placed 10th out of 27 teams, and their next stop is regionals, which is on January 25th. And after this event, we will know who will be qualifying for state, and we wish our fellow high school students well. And then, as Ms. Manners said, this weekend is also HOSA RLC, where this past week some members have been taking some tests. And then this Saturday, those that have presentations and live events will be over Zoom on Saturday. So good luck to those people as well.
And then to get back to, the boys and the girls basketball teams, they're both having great starts to their seasons, which is always very exciting. Winterfest this year is going to be the week of January 27th to the 31st with the pep rally on the 31st. But then we will also not be having a winter dance this year. And then back to some more achievements by the students. The all-state music concerts will be this Thursday, January 9th, and this Saturday, January 11th, in Appleton at Lawrence University Chapel. We wish the following students who are performing the best. Children's Choir, Kendall Berginer, Audrey Whitwer, Eleanor Reeves, Vivi Horth, and Sophia Nyhus. The middle level choir, Adeline Tulis, Ilsa Avery, and Isaac Ludke. Treble clef choir, Aaron Michon, Finley Bauk, and Emma Grady. Bass clef choir, Aaron Robley and Logan Winter. Contemporary pop a cappella, Adelaide Moore and Anna Becker.
Tomorrow, Thursday, January 9th, at 6 p.m. is the Big East Conference Honors Band and Choir Concert, which is at the Capitol Civic Center in Manitowoc. So best of luck to the following students: Jack Hine, Keelan Hamilton, Aaron Michon, Aiden Case, and Catherine Koberstein. Lastly, we are happy to report that all the high school students had a safe and relaxing Christmas or winter break, and we are all gearing up for finals this next week.
Any hard questions for the students? No? Okay. All right. Thank you both. We're glad to have you as part of this. All right. Next is a report from the Curriculum Committee.
Yes.
Chair Kelly, please.
Yes. Okay. So this will be brief because we discussed the academic achievement data, which Lisa will be going over tonight. Just a couple of points from that, though. One thing that we did note is that our EL numbers continue to increase. Chinese and Spanish are our largest groups, and Terry pointed out that the majority of our EL students graduate from EL services in a few years, which is a tremendous accomplishment for our district. We also talked about the gifted and talented program. We have board policy that we have a program. It's also state statute. Andrea Walters gave us an overview of the work she's putting in to strengthen the program. There will be, there's ways to strengthen the process for identification, opportunities for professional development. Right now, we have one student in the program statewide. Most public schools have almost 5% of their students enrolled in gifted and talented. So we have room to grow there, so excited to work on that. And that's it.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Next up will be the student achievement data presentation. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm going to try to make this very, very brief so that I don't bore everybody to death with data, but it is very exciting. We have some excellent data. Adam, am I on? Is this working? Maybe not. Maybe it's too low. Now? Yep, okay. So our student achievement data is excellent. We're really proud of the work that they've done. The students have been doing a great job. Okay, so how we use data. So it's important to understand the difference of data that we use. Some of it is summative of assessments, such as the forward exam, pre-ACT, ACT. Those are all summative, used to evaluate our program. Then we have universal screeners such as MAP, Ames Web Plus. Those are progress monitors which help us on a day-to-day basis. So we use data in two different ways, and sometimes we try to compare the two, and they're actually different types of data, but we do use multiple forms of data to help us make decisions in our curriculum and our day-to-day instruction. So what we're looking for is a framework for measuring student achievement. We're looking for that pyramid with 80% of the students should understand curriculum as our universal curriculum when it's taught. We have 15% should maybe need that little bit of intervention, and 5% would have intensive intervention. So we're really looking at that 80%, 20%, so that the system can handle our intervention. Our intervention can handle about 15% of the students needing to have additional work. So that's kind of the sweet spot, if you will, in schools to measure academic achievement. So caution, so that we're not comparing apples to oranges. Some of the tests use cut scores, and some of the tests use national norms. So they are a little bit different. I have up here kind of identified which ones use cut scores and which ones do not. This last year, new cut scores were used in 23, 24 for forward exam. So it's hard to compare our data longitudinally because now we have different scores. Just as we were starting to get some trend data after COVID, now we've got to start over again a little bit. So it's a little disappointing that they changed those cut scores, but that's kind of what it is. So we use MAP, pre-ACT, ACT, forward. The forward, pre-ACT, and ACT, that's what's used in our school report cards. That's the data that factors into school report cards. Ames Web Plus and MAP does not factor in to the school report card. So here's our MAP achievement. This is this year. This is the data that was taken in the fall. As Natasha alluded to, we're testing right now for our mid-year. So this is the fall data of this year's students. We have an average in all grades in reading at a 72 percentile, which means our kids usually are performing better than 72% of the students in the whole MAP thing. Millions of students take MAP, so these are nationally normed. We have, you can see from the bar that 31% is above the 80th percentile. That's what we would consider advanced. So when we have 31% of our students are in that advanced category, we have some very, very strong students, with only 3% down in that lower percentile. In math, it's pretty much the same story. 74th percentile is the average percentile rank. We have 38% who are performing in that 80th percentile or above in that advanced category. So very good data for this fall. Here is kind of an overview of the 2024 fall map that took place in September and October. And I've got the reading on the left and the math on the right. I also, in the red box, have Ames Web Plus. It's a brand new Act 20 testing for us. we've got a high percentage of kids below that 25th percentile. So we want to do a little bit more digging. We did the test at the beginning of the year, even though we didn't have to. We wanted to kind of test it all out. Now we'll be testing in January, and that's where the data is. So I'm really curious to see where that second round hits, where that's what counts. This was almost like a practice one. I'm not real sure where that data is going to be, but I'm very hopeful that those numbers will be reflective of what the rest of our scores are. As you can see, for grades 4 through 8 then in MAP, we've got many, many kids. When we're talking now, like when you look at grade 4, 43% are above that 80th percentile. So 43% of our 4th graders are considered advanced. That's almost half. That's a pretty good chunk to know that our universal instruction is very, very strong. So for us, I think the story not only says what percent are above the national mean, but at Kohler, I like to highlight that how many are advanced, because I think that tells our story more than how many kids are just proficient or above the mean. In math, same kind of story. I did highlight grade 7. I want to point out 91% of our 7th graders have come above the national mean, with 52% performing at that 80th percentile. So 52%, over half, are considered advanced, and that's at our 7th grade. So I'm really, really proud, and that's this year's 7th grade class. Those are accurate. So really anxious to see what they're going to do mid-year. They're doing very, very well. Those numbers above the 80th percentile are pretty strong, and how many kids are above that national mean is really spectacular. We're really happy about those. Now, breaking down into the forward proficiencies. Now we have to kind of shift because these are last year's scores. So we get it's a year back. So the MAP scores were the current year's. Now we're talking about last year's scores. So overall, 83% of our students in grades 3 through 8 are considered proficient and advanced, and 83% in math are proficient and advanced. You talk about a well-balanced program there. I was really kind of surprised to see that, but really, really happy about the forward scores that are coming up. So I did some comparisons. Here's the county district comparisons. So these are all the Sheboygan County schools in grade 3 through 8. I did the breakdown for our school. At the elementary, at 84% were considered proficient and advanced, 89% at 3rd grade, 84 at 4th grade, 88% at 5th grade, and the middle school scores there. 86%, 89 overall at the middle school are proficient and advanced, with 89, 86, 83. So when we go back to that triangle and we're looking at that 80%, we're very healthy there. You can see the comparisons of the county schools, but then I also did the typically high-flying schools that are more our comparatives, the high-achieving schools, Kohler, Cedarburg, Elmbrook, Mequon, Thiensville, and Whitefish Bay. Whitefish Bay is the one we're chasing. They're the ones that are coming in number 1 quite often. As you can see, they're right up there for the most part in all that we're doing. So there's ELA in grades 3 through 8 for the high-achieving districts. Here's our math scores. These are the county comparisons. You can see the breakdown on the side. Again, 4th grade, 91% of our 4th graders on the forward exam were proficient and advanced. And there's then the high-performing grades 3 through 8 in math. So really spectacular work, which is probably why the elementary report card looks pretty strong. Here we have the pre-ACT, that's testing our 9th and 10th graders. And here are our county comparisons. 7th grade came out 77% proficient, and grade 10, 80% proficient. So here's the comparisons of Sheboygan County schools. And here's the comparison of the high-performing districts for ELA. And we have pre-ACT math, 80% at the 9th grade, 88% at the 10th grade. Again, 31% are advanced on the pre-ACT in math. And here we are with the high-performing districts, again with Kohler taking the lead. Here we have ACT, which are our 11th graders. Here are the county comparisons and the high-achieving comparisons. I'm going to have to add Utzberg into that high-achieving. They're doing really, really well. I'll have to boot them into that category there. And then ACT in math, there's the Sheboygan County district comparisons and the high-achieving districts for ACT math. Here's our accountability report card. So here's our district report card, and it is based on a formula. And our formula over here shows that we have some priority weights. So about 45% is considered on our achievement. So this counts, the achievement score counts 45% of the total score. The growth percent counts 5% of the score. And then in both the target groups and our on track to graduation, it counts 25%. Now, on track to graduation includes chronic absenteeism, our graduation rate, 3rd grade reading, and 8th grade math. So the 3rd grade reading is 25% of the elementary score, and 8th grade math is 25% of the middle school score. But as a district, those 4 categories feed into this on track to graduation, to which we are at a 95.9 index, which is higher than 100% of the schools in the state of Wisconsin. So we have the highest score in that area. So I put in the margin where we were comparatively, because what does an 89.6 mean in achievement? Well, what that means is it's higher than 98.4% of the districts in the state of Wisconsin. Same with the target groups, higher than 97.9%. Target groups are the identified lowest 25% of your students, and they trace them all the way up. So that lower, think bomber time, if you will, the kids who would be in bomber time, that's kind of who they track. Those kids on the bottom 25 percentile, they want to see how they're growing and how they're progressing. So as a district, we have a very high index at 97.9%. We go to the elementary score. It's higher than 98.8% in the state of Wisconsin. Their growth is higher than 85%, and here we are on track, that lower 25%, higher than 100% of the schools in the state of Wisconsin. So our basically bomber time. Our elementary teachers are really rocking the bomber time and really working with those targeted groups in the intervention. And our on track to graduation, which for the elementary is your attendance, and it's your chronic absenteeism and 3rd grade reading, all factors into there. So obviously our 3rd graders are doing really, really well. At middle school, they are higher in achievement, higher than 96.3% in the state of Wisconsin. The growth is a little bit lower than what we would like, but it's higher than 55% of the state. Their target groups, 75.3%, and on track to graduation, which is your 8th grade math, along with absenteeism and your attendance, is higher than 97.4%. So our 8th grade math students are doing very well. Here's high school report card. Achievement higher than 97.5%. On track higher than 98.8%. Higher than 97%. Higher than 99.8%. So really, really comparatively in the state of Wisconsin, really, you can't get data a whole lot better than that. So Kelly had asked for the proficiency trends across the years. So here is each of the grade levels as they go across. Again, kind of hard to compare. Sometimes we're comparing different scores, but you can kind of see in the 2019-20 school year we had COVID testing, so they're not there. I put what grades they're in. So for example, this is the class of 2028. They're our current 9th graders, and their test last year in 8th grade was 86% proficient and advanced in grade 8. So you can kind of follow them across, if you will, and we can kind of look historically through that. So that is reading ELA trends. And then there's our math trends. Again, really strong numbers all the way across the board. And then our school accountability report cards I did overall as we were doing back to the 2015-16 school year, which is when I came to Kohler. That's as far back of data that I had, is when I came here. So I've kind of put what the district was, what the high school, what the middle school, elementary is. And this is comparative data. So you have to kind of understand that, like here, 93.2 the elementary had in 17-18. Same score, 93.2 in 2021-22. Here was the 11th highest in the state, and there it was the 4th highest in the state. So it really depends, it's comparative to know that. I don't get too hung up on the number 1, number 2, number 3 because it is comparative. If anyone is interested in how that whole value-added formula works, I have a link there on the value-added oak tree analogy. It kind of explains for you data geeks on how value-added formula works. Got it? Yeah. And our English language learners, as Kelly was saying, we currently have 43 students speaking 16 different languages. We are meeting the needs through our multi-level systems of support, as well as the additional reading interventionist position. So adding Ben has been an absolute game changer for us. In 22-23, our ELL population was about 4% of our population. We have more than doubled that in 2 years. In 24-25, it's 10% of our population. So we are really growing. Yeah.
Quick question for Terry. Keep me honest on this. On this slide, the kids that go into an EL program, there's a sort of a state number. They get out in 4 or 5 years, but our kids get out in 2.2, an average of 2.2 years or something like that?
They say 5 years to be proficient, and we do get out probably around 3 years.
Yep, they're breezing
Thank
through.
you. Yeah, that's really something.
So we are able to, meet their needs through the multi-level system support. It really is very, very dependent on where their literacy is in their home language. Our kids typically are literate in their home language, and they just need time to learn the language. And once they have that time to learn that language, we immerse them with their friends. We don't have a pull-up program. They learn from being in class with their friends, watching TV, socializing, lunchtime. That's where they really pick up the language, and they just really need the little bit of support that we can give them, and then time to learn the language. So it really makes a difference. So I love to say it's everything that we're doing, but if they come in already literate in their home language, the chances of them picking up English and exiting that program is much higher. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then advanced courses and post-secondary. Here's our layout of all of our advanced courses, all of our dual credit, our honors courses. We have 82% of our students enrolled in post-secondary. Statewide is 52%, so we're much higher than most schools in the state of Wisconsin. 70% of our kids go to in-state schools, and 30% go to out-of-state schools. And then 68% go to public institutions, and 33% go to private, which is almost double, a little over double what the state average is in those private institutions. So as you can see, we have an awful lot of choices for our kids for the advancement. And that concludes my data report.
Yeah, thank you to the team for assembling the data, and thank you, since we have such a big teacher audience tonight, thank you to the teachers who make that all happen. All right, the next item is a report of the Finance Committee. Chair Tara.
We met just before this meeting, and nothing out of the ordinary to report for invoices or expenses. And then I think we'll just kick the open enrollment to that section.
Next item. Okay. Anything else? Any hard questions for Tara? Isaac?
No, nothing special to announce. We did get our audit report, which everything came in good. We have copies for our board members, as well as if anyone wants to know anything, they can come in. We can provide other data if need be.
You think my data report was interesting, you should read that audit report.
Heather's already, I see her hands going there.
I did ask if I could mark in it, and I was told yes. So.
Those are all your copies to keep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item is the consent agenda, including the approval of our last meeting minutes and the approval of recent invoices. Do members wish to set any of the consent agenda items aside? All right, then in that case, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Anything under discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I would entertain a motion to approve 19 open enrollment seats, and option 2 is discussed in the last board meeting and today's Finance Committee meeting, with the express intent of the board to open a third section of 4K in 25-26.
So moved.
Second.
Anything under discussion?
I guess just for my own understanding, I would like to know why that's the option that's being put forward when I don't feel like that was what was discussed at finance today. I don't know how to go about doing that in a legal way of the board.
Sure. So what I just did was the way it works on a board. You put forth a motion, and it got 2 approvals. We may not pass that, right? But you put forth a motion, then you get a motion and a second, or and then you discuss it, and then it either stands or doesn't. And then if somebody else has another motion, they can move it.
So we're of the discussion.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So anything under discussion for this option?
I do just want to say, overall, with all these options, I was disappointed to hear that discussions didn't start with the JK teachers until December 11th, when this has been an ongoing thing that we've, been discussing for a couple of years, and we wanted to avoid what happened 2 years ago. I also wanted to say that we as the board, we're voting on open enrollment seats. I, as a board member, have never discussed Kohler care. That's an operational thing. Something that's also operational, but I do want to say, if we do have a third section, I would want us to look at having the Spanish program go into the classrooms and having a different PM JK teacher.
Or Ann.
Right. I guess to, my point is if we move to 3 sections, that does not need to eliminate our elementary Spanish program.
Okay, and to be clear, there's nothing in the motion that prescribes an afternoon program. It just prescribes a third section.
And I think that really the board's privy here is to do the seats, not necessarily the sections.
Yeah, I
right?
think
But
that's
you
what I
are,
was wondering.
you are setting how many open enrollment seats there are.
Okay,
And the administration is recommending 15 open enrollment seats for the board at this time. We are not in favor of an afternoon section or adding a third 4K section. Just wanted on the record what the administration and the staff is recommending. We would like 15 open enrollment seats and with our 2 current 4K morning sections.
okay.
And probably to provide some background as to why we had to have this conversation for everyone listening. The current option of staying status quo does not lead to as much financial stability for the district by staying with very minimal students coming in. So going into kindergarten with a small class size, not either of the options we're discussing here, is not a financially sound decision, and that's why it led to this discussion of where we're going to land. In discussion, we were discussing the options of 19 and 15 students, but the need for the discussion came about because of financing and wanting to make sure that the district is set up for long-term success.
Lisa, can I ask, with the recommendation for 15 seats, we're projecting 25 residents. What happens if there's 30 resident students?
Our data shows that we've got pretty accurate data from the census. We have a little bit of wiggle room, and we're comfortable with these numbers.
So what would happen though, my question, are you saying, if we had 45, would you still want to do 2 sections?
We'd have to take a look at that. We'd have to take a look and see what we're at right now. With the data that we have, we'd like to open up 15 seats, which allows us a little bit of wiggle room, and we could take it from there, but that's our recommendation, so that we have a little bit of extra room.
I have a concern with the data because I requested to know how many 4K students will be coming in through our already open enrolled families. So I would consider any student in our district, those are our families. And if they have a student coming into the 4K next year, I would like to welcome that student as we would any other of our family members, younger siblings. And that survey went out last night at 5:03. So right now, that number is 8, but I would imagine that number is different, just based on the fact that the survey is 1 day old. I don't know what that number is going to look like, so I feel very uncomfortable agreeing to a high section for 4K when I think we should make the plan now and move forward.
Just because the numbers are there, it doesn't mean that they're going to come here as well. The other factor that we have is our special ed numbers are quite high. So moving forward, we're going to have to follow our policy and the state guidelines that if a student who is open enrolled who comes to our school and then they qualify for special ed, they are going to have to go back to their home school. So that's going to happen. We're going to have siblings here whose siblings might not be here depending on special ed. Just because we have 4K students does not mean on the list, doesn't mean they come here. They've got other choices with, the John Michael Kohler Center or Camp Wakota. There's other programs. So we're trying to get as clear of data as we can as who is going to be coming here. Alyssa does a really good job of having a spreadsheet trying to track those. She's working on that all the time. She's got a list. We feel like we have a pretty good handle. We know who is coming here, and they've contacted Alyssa for the most part. We did just send out a survey just to double check, make sure we had everything. We are comfortable with these numbers, and once again, our recommendation is 15 seats.
So Lisa, when you say having a good handle on who's coming here, do you mean open enrollment siblings?
Open enrollment siblings as well as our residents that we know of, like in our child find, in our census data.
What is the number of open enrollment siblings right now?
8.
From the survey that went out yesterday.
From the survey, not.
Well, it's from the data that we had prior as well.
All right, I'll read it again, Adrian, just so you can copy it down. The motion is to approve 19 open enrollment seats and option 2 as discussed in the board meeting and the finance committee meeting with the express intent of the board to open a third section of 4K in 25-26. All right, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, it's 4-1 and passes. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Anything under discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.